Hi everyone. Blessings, 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 and welcome to Magic Monday. So, today is actually Tuesday as I am coming live, and my sincere apologies for not coming live on Monday for those of you who were waiting. Thank you to the beloved who sent me a private message letting me know, like, hey, where are you? It was really nice to receive that and to feel appreciated and noticed in my absence. So thank you so much. Shout out to you. And yeah, I just had a very long awakening with lots of events and circles and big happenings in my personal life. September is my birthday month. My solar return is coming up. And so there was just a lot going on. And it was also a 3-day awakening with Labor Day, which I don't necessarily observe, but because of other things and because I engage with this human experience, I got a little confused in my calendars and I had a moment of absentia. I had a human moment. And thank you, Mercury retrograde and all the other retrogrades. So I'm coming to you live today to do the Magic Mondays live. And today I will be pulling cards for this week ahead, as well as talk a little bit about the overall general of September's energies. Okay? So, before we get started, get a drink, get comfy, whatever you need to prepare yourself for this moment, whether you're joining the live, more than likely the replay, since this is very kind of unexpected and out of the normal flow of flow. So thank you for catching the replay. So let's start with a big deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Let's do a little bit of grounding, okay? On this next inhale, imagine those rosebuds opening at the base of your feet. Exhale, rosebuds open, roots come out, dropping you into the ground, connecting you with the earth, with your body, with this present moment. Inhale, open, soften and expand. Exhale, drop, sinking deeper into yourself, rooted, anchored, connected, grounded. Inhale. Feel the strength of just being connected in this present moment with yourself and with all of life. Exhale, letting tension drop, letting gravity just drink the density, effortless surrender. Inhale, open, soften, and expand. Exhale, letting go of what came a moment ago and what comes next. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Good. 3 more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mm. Thank you for being here. Thank you for waking up today. Deep bow to us all. All right, so what do we want to do first? September energies or weekly forecast? Let's do September energies, okay? So, the month of September. Woo, what's happening? Month of September. So, month of September is the thick of retrograde season. Now, as of right now, we have 6 planets in retrograde, but technically you could still see as Venus being in retrograde. It just came out of the retrograde on September 3rd, but we're still in that shadow period of it returning to its rhythms, shall we say, to that bridge from the internal intensity that we've been in over the last few months. So we have six, seven-ish, six-ish planets in retrograde, so half our planets are in retrograde right now. So what that means is, September is going to be a big month of introspection and real evaluation of self, of personal relationships, of creative pursuits, of values, of past issues. Anything that hasn't been resolved is going to come up to be addressed, because you have to take out the trash in your house, like your physical house. You have to clean your toilets, you have to empty out your trash, you have to take out your recycling, you have to give back the compost to the earth. Otherwise, it's going to start stinking up and ripening, right? You got to get rid of the waste so that new life can come in. You got to work through and sift through whatever's in the consciousness so that you can have room to receive the blessings and the gifts from those past experiences, and from the new that is already here now, that is simply awaiting you to get into alignment within yourself, so that you can attract more of what you desire into your life. So I'm being guided to pull an archetype for the month of September. So let's see what archetype. So September has been off to a really interesting start for me. I've been super busy every single day doing ceremony and circle within the community, and having personal events. And yesterday on a date, I was stung by a wasp, and I'm still like processing the venom. I went behind some bushes to pee. Maybe you didn't like that I went behind the bushes, but I had to pee. And I got bit by this wasp as I was going in, and I felt it, and I immediately sucked out the venom, flicked the wasp out me, pulled the stinger out, broke the stinger in half when it came out. And I was just like spending 10 minutes like that. Hold on 1 second. Whew. Excuse me. And the venom of the wasp, is still working through me. It hasn't even been 24 hours. So I've been sitting with this interesting experience that I had in the last 24 hours, and that had happened on the second date with this really beautiful, very unexpected connection that is, young and unfolding. We shall see. But I've been sitting with this medicine of the wasp venom, and I looked it up on Google a little bit, but I definitely sat in meditation for some time before looking on Google. And what was coming through is the power of protecting our community. And this is something that came up for me personally, and it was really synchronistic because I just did a couple of circles, and I've been invited to lead more circles over the next few weeks, drum circles, sound healing circles, which I'm super blessed and grateful for. This past awakening was me coming out of the cocoon of transformation and processing that I've been in for the last few years. Some of you who have been following me for a while know I've been in a deep process of navigating grief and other losses that I experienced in my life. So this past awakening was kind of my rebirth as a spiritual leader within my community. And then I get bit by this wasp, and I was just like feeling the venom course through me in meditation, and like having these visualizations, these visions come through me of this underground hive, because wasps usually create their nests inside the ground. And so the message that came through to me, and for some reason I'm guided to share this with you, so perhaps there's a message in here for you. This is what the month of September is going to be about for me, and there's some parallels here for you as well, so take what resonates. But what I was getting with the medicine of this wasp venom is creating our strong community of roots, because the wasps create their hives underground. So it's like really tapping deep into the roots of our depths, of our consciousness, and cultivating connections and creations, the power of organized leadership, the power of, protecting our roots, protecting our areas, protecting our boundaries, protecting our space, and also encouragement to keep going, because sometimes, well, almost always the medicine is the poison is the medicine. It simply depends on the dosage, so to speak. So I was sitting there sucking out the venom, feeling my tongue swell, watching my hands swell up. And my date was just, he was very kind, and he made me sit down and just held me for a moment while I was just like kind of stinging and burning. The first 10 minutes, like what the fuck just happened. But that was the big message that I've received, and I'm going to be sitting with this for the rest of this week because it's definitely, not something that happens every day. I've only been bitten by a bee one other time, and that was a very interesting experience. And that was 5 years ago, right before I entered. Oh, interesting. I'm seeing parallels here as I'm processing out loud. That was right before I entered a partnership, a spiritual partnership, a few months before I entered spiritual partnership. But during that same week is when we started talking, and here I was on the second date with this man. But the bigger message is really about community and creating strong roots within our community, protecting the people of our tribe. And as I'm coming out right now as a spiritual leader, doing sessions in person again, in circles again, after several years of not, and being so lovingly welcomed and encouraged and supported by my community here in Eugene, it just felt very synchronistic of like, okay, there's gonna be some sting, there's gonna be some poison, there's gonna be some lashback, there's gonna be some energies that don't like that I'm in this space of theirs, yet I'm here, and I'm here to bring a blessing. And that yesterday's instance, I was there to bring the blessing of my pee. So whatever it is that you're going through, if you're just feeling like a little defensive, a little protective of yourself, of your boundaries, of your home, of your people, honor that. You're being encouraged to honor that, because again, September is, still very much thick retrograde season, and that season of reevaluation of self. And, we're in this cocoon, in this metamorphosis. So it is important to protect ourselves at this time, but not to the point of being defensive and lashing out, right? Cultivating wisdom and recognizing, okay, am I triggered because there's a boundary here that I'm not expressing that needs to be expressed, or am I triggered because there's something that still needs healing and resolution, and how can I bring that into light with love and grace? Okay, all right, so that's my little tangent on my wasp venom experience. It's just really prominent in my mind right now, and why I've kind of been taking it slow this rising, and I wasn't rushing to get on live as soon as I possibly could, because I've just kind of been feeling the venom work through me. Okay, so let's dive into what is the archetype overall energy for September, please. Networker. Enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. Holy shit, I have chills, y'all. Because I was just talking about how the wasp, has been sitting with me for the last few hours, and talking about how we need to build our community, how we need to, strengthen our roots, our connection within ourselves and with each other. And then the card that comes out for September is Networker. This is about building community and connections. Fucking blown away, okay? And of course, this medicine is working through me because I'm holding the space for the Thriving HSP portal. I'm holding the space for this online community where you come to receive and to also give of yourself, because we nourish and support and encourage and empower each other. Even if I'm the quote-unquote leader in this container, we're all leading ourselves and each other into higher states of awareness. And so the Networker card is here to say, enhance unity through the sharing of information. And that brings back that message I was just talking about. Recognize those defenses as they come up and communicate them where you feel safe, where you feel heard. And on this date that I went on yesterday, we had a plan to go to a local concert, and then walking on the way there, he needed to stop and express some things that were coming up within him, and I really appreciated the emotional transparency and vulnerability. And then we decided to not go to that event, and instead he asked to sit together and meditate and do breath together, and I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'm down. Thank you for communicating your needs. And so the Networker is also saying, communicate your needs. Okay, that this is the path. This is how we rebirth into our empowerment. This is how we rise in our authentic sovereignty and our divinity, by expressing our truth, by being okay with creating discomfort, by tapping into our discomfort. Sometimes when we express our own boundaries, it's going to ruffle the feathers. And yet, as I was telling him, and as I was mentioning to a couple of people over the Awakening, before and after circle, about, well, if I make choices for myself, that's going to upset some people. Okay, okay. You are not responsible for the actions and the reactions of others. You are only responsible for how you choose to carry yourself, how you choose to express yourself, how do you choose to conduct yourself. And the more we give ourselves permission to express ourselves, the more it gives permission to others to express themselves. I had felt some discomfort going on the second date with him, because I'm not one to talk about my personal life. I'm not one for PDA, at least during the initial stages of developing. I want to be really sure about the person I'm with before I share who that is with the world at large. And as we were walking, he was holding my hand, and we were going to this community event where I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know me because of my position in this community as a leader. And I was having feelings about that, but I didn't get a chance to express them before he expressed his feelings. And after he expressed his feelings, I realized like a lot of what I was feeling was actually him. And in him giving himself permission to express himself, I felt safe to lean into that and express my truth. And it was just this beautiful unfolding, several hours of conversation, connection, clarity, resonance, and this is how we build ourselves. This is how we build our world. This is how we build each other. We're like, my nose is like super itchy right now. What is going on? We share information, we share our emotions, we share our thoughts, we share ideas, and we just don't like go and spew our pearls everywhere. We discern, we intuit, right? That's where that awareness and empathy comes in. We tap into our self-awareness of, okay, where and when and how is the right time to share, and am I discerning and intuiting from a place of empowered sovereignty, or from a place of guilt and obligation, right? Holding back information because you are concerned about someone else's feelings, or you are worried about someone else's reactions and actions, is not coming from a place of awareness and empathy. It's coming from a place of guilt, obligation, and codependency. And this is the big energy of September. Okay, and the shadow attribute, is conveying information only for personal gain, spreading fear and falsehood. Falsehood doesn't necessarily just mean lies. Falsehood is also withholding information, right? There is a dance, right? There is a fine line between discerning what to say and when to say, and being sensitive to others around us. But we cannot coddle the people around us, or even ourselves, right? The ego, okay? We can't coddle that if we are here to grow. We have to create discomfort, and by stepping into our discomfort and accepting that that's going to create discomfort, and being at peace with both the discomfort of self and the discomfort of others, recognizing what you are accountable for, what you are responsible for, responsibility, ability to responsibility, and continuing to move forward in an empowered, authentic, thriving way, right? Intuiting, okay, I need to speak my truth now, and it may or may not be the best time for the other, yet you know what, I need to speak my truth now, in whatever that might be. And that creates more room for love and growth and empowerment. And how beautiful and precious is that? So that is the big energy for the month of September, is networker. Okay, building those networks within ourselves. I was talking about how the wasp was showing me the visions of the underground hive, and how they build it, these hexagonal shapes underground. And it was like this beautiful journey that I went into in my meditation, that this beloved man invited me into after our talk and the whole like incident. And I was sitting there in meditation, this beautiful poem came through, and I was just like watching the wasp, the venom, the energy of the wasp that was in my blood, taking me through the bloodlines of this beautiful underground hive, and showing me how it's like built in vast networks. That's why when you step on the ground, wherever they might, have their nest, it feels like an earthquake, and they get defensive, and they bite because they're scared that they're going to lose their homes. And I wasn't there to disrupt the little wasp's home. I just wanted to offer my blessing, and I just scared it, right? We get defensive and we react when there is fear, right? But fear is false evidence appearing real. And if you are interested in diving deeper into fear, I have a workshop that I did last month that is available as part of my summer special. It's only available as a summer special for this month. So I'll put a link for that in the description box. So, I invite you to check that out. You get lifetime access to it. And I share an EFT, emotional freedom technique, to embrace and empower your fear, as well as a pathway to transcend fear in a healthy and empowering and nourishing way. So, we look at our fear and we rise above it by communicating with ourselves. Mirror work is a wonderful way to build those networks, to heal those broken threads of connection within ourselves, learning how to listen to our heart, learning to honor the discomfort, the yes and the no. I always ask when people are like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, what's your full body yes? I don't ask them, what do you want to do? Because it's like, I don't know what I fucking want to do. But when you ask the question of what is my full body yes, it shifts your mindset into this different framework of like, oh, my full body yes is not going to this concert. Okay, all right. Maybe it's not doing this thing, not going there, not eating this, not doing that. What is the full body yes, though, right? We are so ingrained and programmed to immediately know what not to do, and that's just because of life experiences, right? Life experiences show us what we don't like, what we don't want. But the more we focus on what we don't want, the more we attract that, because that is the focus of our energy. The universe works as an energy field. We are emotional beings, energy in motion beings. We are constantly emitting energy from our hearts. Okay, like it can literally be measured with an EKG, an electrocardiogram, measuring the electric signals from our heart. Oh my gosh, I have like all these bites on my body today. I don't know what happened to me overnight in dreaming. Anyway, excuse me. I'm just having a human day today, like processing the last few days and the wasp venom. But where was I? uh, I lost my train of thought. I'm just I'm just going through these waves right now with the venom. It's just like hitting me and just like taking me deeper into myself. So suffice it to say, build the networks within yourself, learn how to listen to yourself, learn how to express yourself. I have lots of content that I share in this group. You're also welcome to reach out to me for a free consult, and we can talk then if you want to do deeper dive sessions. Reach out to your friends and family. This month is big about discernment and strengthening self-awareness. Okay, all right, so that's the overall energy for the networker. Okay. So on September 3rd, so 2 days ago, because today is September 5th as I'm coming to you live, Venus turned direct, okay? So when Venus was in retrograde, we had a chance to really look at how we show up in relationships. So now that Venus is direct, we get an opportunity to improve our relationships from this new founded awareness. We get the opportunity to create new relationships that perhaps have, fallen away in the past. This is a wonderful time to do forgiveness and, letting go. And forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean that what somebody else is right or wrong. I don't like to tap into right and wrong, even though there is a line between evil and good. Rather, whatever happened. Karma and justice is in God's hands. Trust yourself, have faith in God, Goddess, to bring justice to you. But now looking at those past relationships, which you've been doing for the last few months, and it's still going to come up through the end of the year because we have all these other planets in retrograde. Stop itching it. Now we get a chance to start new relationships. So this new unfolding that has happened with me with this very unexpected man, it started at the end as Venus is going direct. So it's very synchronistic divine alignment and timing here. And now with Venus in direct, we get to cultivate and strengthen and sweeten our relationships with ourselves in the mirror of our relationships with others, in romance and friendships, with our animals, with our business, with our friends, with our community, so on and so forth. Okay? Now, yesterday, September 4th, Jupiter went retrograde. Okay? And this is going to be a 4-month period. So Jupiter is going to be in retrograde all the way through the end of the year. And Jupiter is all about expansion. It's all about big daddy energy, just like spread out, expand your resources, share the wealth, doing all the big, superpower magnifying energy. Jupiter is a magnifier energy. But when it's in retrograde, it magnifies within, because retrograde is all internal. Okay, so the Jupiter retrograde energy is giving us an opportunity to slow down and take stock of where we have been growing, where we have been expanding, where we have been stretching, where we have been enjoying all the material resources that the first half of the year brought us, right? Now, Jupiter is retrograde in Taurus. And Taurus is all about the senses, the pleasure body. So this year with Jupiter and Taurus has been a very physically oriented year. Physical in the body, physical in the home, physical in our senses. It's been a year of getting in touch with our primal pleasures, with our indulgences, and with recognizing where we are in excess indulgence, right? It's okay to indulge. It's okay to experience pleasure and bliss. On September 1st, I had dinner with a new friend and I had my first cocktails. Like I've had, a beer or wine ritualistically over the last, over the last 2 years, really. And I haven't had a cocktail with spirits in 8 years, since the year before I received my elder initiation training. Like, I have consciously chosen to not engage with spirits after I received the download of what connecting with alcohol actually does to the psyche and the consciousness. And so I chose to indulge in spirits, and I received some beautiful gifts and lessons from that experience. But I chose to indulge in spirits to celebrate my birthday, my solar return month. This is a big turning point in my life for me. I'm going to start a new regeneration cycle. So that was bringing up that question of indulgence and pleasure. Can we choose to participate in the human experience from the awareness and the understanding that we are God, Goddess, consciousness, source, creating ourselves, co-creating with life, participating with life, and it's okay to engage our pleasure senses without overindulgence. Okay, so this Taurus Jupiter is about slow, methodic building, lasting foundations that make us feel comfortable, at home, nourished, nurtured, inspired. Okay, our homes, our bank accounts, our furniture, our quality of clothing, our quality of food, our quality of life, over the next few months, maybe getting a much needed makeover, because now that energy is going to be really magnetized within self, and it's going to show where we are overindulging or not allowing ourselves to experience the primal pleasures of being in the body. Right? Yes, we are God, Goddess, life, source, consciousness, existence, creating, co-creating, experiencing itself. Yet at the ultimate end of the day, we are in a 3D body. A big conversation that came up over the last few days is what is happening right now with the shift of 3D, 4D, and 5D. And what I've been tapping into for the last few weeks is that many beings are stuck in 4D. So 3D is attachment. We are attached to identities. We're attached to things. We're attached to people. We're attached to habits, codependencies, addictions, karmic loops and cycles. Then 4D is when we start breaking away. We go through the back and forth. We go through the guilt. We go through the shame. We go through the obligation. We go through the maybe not. We go through the, the egoic mindset of, I don't need this. This needs me. That's the 4D. We're like bridging out of attachment. And then 5D is non-attachment. That's when you can really see that you are not entangled except by the power of your mind. And you can create and co-create with life and everything around you from the place of understanding that it is all simply an experience in the human experience, right? So for example, using me as an example, in my late teens, early 20s, I was heavily addicted to narcotics and booze and pills. And so one of the big things of me going on my sober journey for a good 6 years before I chose to participate in alcohol when my brother passed. That's when I connected with Saki for the first time in almost 6 years to do a ritual for his Bardo ceremony. That was when I broke my seal of connecting with the spirit world. That was me consciously choosing to step into that 4D bridge to work through all of the entanglements that I had created for myself and that had been projected onto me through societal conditioning around alcoholism and what that had created and brought up within me, and of my connections within my bloodlines. And now with what happened a few days ago and me consciously participating in spirits, I was able to recognize that I can have a non-attached experience with alcohol. Like, oh, I can engage with you and we can work together in dreaming or in celebration or whatever have you, but I don't have those old thought forms and those old anchors, shall we say, pulling me back, right? But a lot of people get stuck in 4D because the 4D is when the going gets tough. 3D is relatively easy. You're kind of like in it, you're trapped, you're not really taking responsibility for whatever, you're just kind of like being dragged through the currents. And then 5D is when you're fully in your power, right? 5D is when you're embodied, enlightened, tapped in, turned in, tuned in, and it's effortless because you've done through the work. The hardest part is 4D, is the bridging. And so a lot of people get stuck in 4D because that's when you really have to apply your will, your free will, your conscious, your gift of conscious choice to continue facing those temptations, to continue resisting the darkness, to continue strengthening and refining your wisdom and your courage and discernment to recognize what is and is not in alignment for you. And you can't rush that process. All right. And because a lot of the world is so ingrained with instant gratification culture and quick, order, click on Amazon, you get it the next day, it doesn't cultivate discipline. And that's what 4D is about. 4D is about discipline with yourself. And the more you cultivate discipline with yourself, consistency and commitment, patience and trust, then you start building the bridge. And I've been on this bridge between 3D and 5D for the last 10 years, and now I'm finally seeing myself at the end of that bridge. That's not to say that I'm not going to continue growing and I'm not going to still have things to work through, but like the main heart, okay, the main heart of our evolution, that metamorphosis cocoon stage, that's been a 10-year bridge that I've just recently wrapped up. And that that period of time can be a few years, a few lifetimes. Okay, I know that I've been working on it for a few lifetimes. I've been consciously working on it in this lifetime for 10 years, but I've been actively working on transitioning from 3D into 5D for many lifetimes. But I'm still in a 3D body. And that's what enlightenment, embodiment is about. It's about recognizing that we are still in this physical body, but we are God, Goddess, consciousness, life source experiencing itself. And so this Jupiter in Taurus retrograde transit is about recognizing all of this around us and how we relate to it and how we magnify these pleasure senses, the gift of just being in this body in all aspects of our life, and bringing greater balance into that, bringing greater consciousness into that. Okay, so middle of the month, we have a Virgo new moon on the 14th. Okay, super special because we are going to be in Virgo season. We are going to have a Virgo new moon. New moon is about planting new seeds. Okay, Virgo is about service, productivity, And so, planting seeds on a Virgo new moon really strengthens and boosts the intentions that we set on it, because Virgo is about, again, service, devotion. We were just talking about devotion being really important in the transcendence of the ego bodies. Okay, so we have that Virgo full moon coming up on September 14th. And the next day, in the heart of that Virgo full new moon, Mercury is finally going to go direct. Okay, and Mercury is a ruler of Virgo. So, this is going to be a perfect, really ripe time for you to set your intentions, and then right within that 24-hour window, Mercury goes direct. Yes, we have a shadow. We all know it takes a minute for the engine to rev up and go from 0 to 60. But with Mercury going direct in that full moon window, you're going to get that clarity of like how you need to organize your life, the details, the practicality, the little nuancy baby steps, the daily routines and habits on how you can make the most favorable choices for the long-term fruition of that seed that you plant, right? And so that's going to be improving communication within yourself, within personal and professional lives, okay? So that's a big thing that's happening middle of the month. And then on September 23rd, Libra season starts. Libra is all about balance, order, harmony, refinement, good taste, feeding into that Jupiter and Taurian energy. Libra is all about friendships and partnerships. Okay, so but again, the balance of connection is solitude, right? And so the shadow of the Libra is people pleasing, okay? And again, this is going to be especially highlighted this Libra season, the people pleasing aspects of self, because we are in the retrograde energies of Jupiter in Taurus, of Saturn in Pisces, I think Neptune as well. I can't remember what Neptune's in, of Pluto in Capricorn. And then the shadow, coming out of the shadow of Mercury retrograde for the first 2 weeks. So again, Libra season's coming up. I love Libra season. Libra is my first house. So, I'm always having to work with balancing and making sure I'm not in the people pleasing energy, because then I get into trouble within myself, right? When we give from a cup that isn't full and overflowing, we are not giving from a place of empowerment and love. We are giving from a place of sacrifice and obligation. Okay, so it's good to desire the finer things in life. It's good to want to share and co-create that energy with others, but we also have to find that balance within ourselves first, and then cultivate and share that with others. Okay, and then at the end of the month, we see a full moon on the 28th of September, and this is going to be a full moon in Aries. This is a big full moon. Why? Because it is going to bring the harvest of everything that was planted in the new moon of the equinox of the spring. That full moon in Aries is going to signify the true beginning of fall season. I mean, we're already into fall right now. The leaves are turning. We had the first day of fall, the pre-fall, but like by the end of the month with the full moon in Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, right? And this new moon is sitting right at 00 degrees of Aries. So it's like a literal start of a brand new season. Okay, so think back to what kind of intentions that you planted, for around March 21st with the equinox, with Beltane, with that full moon that was happening then. And that's that Aries is the sign of the pioneer, the risk taker, the fighter, the soldier, the independent courage, the action taker, the initiator, right? So this month, take the time to really feel into, with this Virgo new moon coming up, how do I want to show up in my life for myself? What's fresh and new and exciting and bold that I want to cultivate, that I want to ignite, that I want to expand upon within myself, within my relationships, within my career, within my work, within my home, within my community? Do I want to move somewhere? Do I want, someone to move in with me? These are the big questions that are going to come up through this month. And then by the Aries full moon, it's like green light, go. Mercury is going to be direct. and we are going to have had time to review. We're going to be in Libra season, which is all about balance. So get excited for that Aries full moon, because that's going to be like that great shift from the me to the we energy that is really now pushing us into the Aquarian age. I had a tea with a new soul sister last Friday, and we were talking about this shift into the Aquarian age. And I told her, what I've been intuiting and feeling into is by the end of 2024, we will have finished the bridging from Pisces to Aquarius. And so this Aries full moon is like, all right, people, it's time to get on the boat to, go into the Aquarian age. If you've been doing the work, it's going to be smooth sailing, for the next year or so. But if you haven't doing the work, it's going to be a little tough for you, little love. But, this is just the natural flow and order of things. All right. So overall, a really great month for, resetting interpersonal balance. Again, strengthening those connections within ourselves and with each other by giving voice to our needs, to our boundaries, to our desires. Okay. I was thinking of pulling tarot for the month ahead, but I will not do that on this live because I've been on here for 40 minutes and I really want to keep this, within an hour to respect my time, honor your time. So let's shift the energy and go into the energies for this week ahead, okay? So I'm going to start with one power message for the week. So one card, one power message for this week, September 4th through the 10th. 4th through the 10th. I'm like having a mouthful right now, fucking. Is it the wasp venom that's still got my tongue a little swollen? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I still feel a little bit of... Excuse me. I still feel a little of that coming in. Poison is what helps clear the toxins out of the body. Toxins, clearing out toxins. What a concept. All right, let's look at... Okay, I was feeling into what is the energy for the week ahead, and two cards flipped over right as I was forming that thought. Right as that thought formed, right? Our thoughts form before we can even give them voice. And sometimes the answer comes right as the thought forms. And what came through was wisdom and imagination as the power messages for the week ahead. So I'll read wisdom first. Wisdom is the direction of north. Okay? North is about the earth, the physical body, the tangible, the resources. So if you are addicted to the process of becoming, there are storms on your horizon. If suddenly there is nothing left to become, you are filled with terror and face to face with your own empty being. In this moment, find the sacred space, a sanctuary of pleasant stillness in your heart. To know that you are truly alone is the first step on the long journey of self-discovery, on the path to power. And the final step is to learn that you are already linked with the universe and you are a part of everything and you already live in all the lodges of the universe. This journey and this process of realization is wisdom. Yeah. I feel like this is a really good summation of this Venus retrograde energy coming out and going direct. And the other card message that came out was imagination. This is the direction of west. West is about our emotions, our depths, our dreams, our subconscious. Imagination. Exploring the wilderness of your own soul through contemplation brings you to the altar of your imagination. To have a circle of imagination in your being, walk with the untamed, wild, instinctual side of your nature, all the time knowing its power. Like a woman aware of her pregnancy as she moves through her round of daily tasks, You need not focus on the unborn life in order for its nature to continue to grow. Always remember that inspiration often comes after reflection, after the seed of creativity is implanted. Once you begin your creative work, the energy of the universe comes to you and imagination flows. I'm being guided to leave that there and not add anything to that, because that had medicine in there. And you can rewind and re-listen to that, a couple times. I'm going to definitely read it a few times throughout this day. So let's look at Mystic Mondays Tarot. I know it's Tuesday. And let's get an overall card for this week, please. 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords is the energy of inner mental turmoil, sleepless nights, feeling isolated, feeling alone, feeling cut off. And, with the Wisdom card that came out, this is just a part of the process. Feeling alone, feeling like, nobody understands you, nobody gets you, you're all alone in this human experience. And that is part of the soul growth, right? You have to get out of these bonds, okay? Look at the bottom of the deck, Lovers. And how do we get out of this, self-imposed limitations? By learning how to love ourselves, by allowing ourselves to connect in stillness to the power of our imagination, okay? Look, 32 is a 5. 14 is a 5, okay? 5 is a pause. Pause of reflection, pause of evaluation. What are we pausing to reflect and evaluate? We're pausing to reflect and evaluate where we are still holding ourselves prisoners to thoughts, ideas, beliefs that aren't actually true. Fear, right? Where we are still trapped in fear. False evidence appearing real. Okay? Overall energy of the week, breaking out of that fear mind. Are you going to choose to stay in that 9 of Swords? Or are you going to, step into that 10 of Swords, admit that, you may have misjudged, you may have created projections, you may have, not communicated clearly, you may have had, expectations without communication, and return home, right? 10 of Swords is the completion of mental inner turmoil. But you have to make that empowered step to get out of your own head. So let's look at what the energy of yesterday, Monday, was. Queen of Cups, okay, which is beautiful and perfect and in alignment with the Venus retrograde going direct, okay? Queen of Cups, it's like, whew, all right, I feel the love again. I feel the love for myself coming back. I don't feel like I'm just in this like scrutiny, because that's been the energy. But, Venus in retrograde, it kind of like, it's looking close. I'm looking at your heart. I'm looking at what's in there. Right? And so yesterday the energy was Queen of Cups. It's like finally that energy has been lifted, and we're going to be feeling a lot more connected with our heart, with our desires, with our passion, with our love for self, for life, for our wants, our needs, our boundaries, and so on. So let's look at what is the energy for today, please. The Empress, nurture, self-care. Yeah, with the 9 of Swords, right? We're like breaking out of these mental prisons. And what's going to help that? We saw at the bottom of the deck, love. Look, bottom of the deck, 8 of Cups, leaving the past behind, leaving the heartache behind, leaving the regret, leaving the shame, leaving the guilt, leaving the obligation. It's a process. It's layers and layers and layers, okay? So the Empress comes out for today, which is so resonating because, I woke up this rising. I was like, I need to get live at 10 o'clock and, try to get caught up. And I was like, no. I need to take care of myself, change my sheets, do my laundry, clean my kitchen, vacuum my house, do some self-care, and then I'm going to show up for the peoples, right? Because if I'm not okay, you're going to receive my half-assed crap, and I wouldn't want, somebody to show up for me with their half-assed crap. So as I nurture myself, I'm able to nurture you. And as you nurture you, you're able to nurture me and everyone around you. Beautiful. Okay, Wednesday. 5 of Pentacles, okay? 5 of Pentacles. Remember, we talked about That number 5 being big this week. What is the 5? 5 is about pause and reflection. 5 of Pentacles. Pentacles is resources, looking at where we at financially, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, creatively, looking at the past and choosing, whether we're going to focus on the difficulties and challenges, or we're going to look at that and see the blessings of whatever experience, even if that past was like 5 minutes ago. It's still the past. Okay, it's already happened. And choosing to move forward, right? 5 is about just a simple pause, and you can get stuck there, or you can move forward. And I always, invite you to, especially if you're deep in the work, a soul work, I invite you to schedule time and set boundaries. Okay, I'm only going to sit here and think about, what happened in the past relationship for 10 minutes a day. I'm not going to just like, any time of the day it comes up, and then all my life and balance falls apart. This is part of you building healthy boundaries with yourself. And the more you build those healthy boundaries within yourself, the more you're able to cultivate that with others around you. Okay, so Wednesday is 5 of Pentacles. Let's look at Thursday. Let's see if we're shifting this energy into empowerment and greater self-love. Ooh, too many cards. Just one, please. Okay, there it is. Princess of Wands. Yes, love it. Princess of Wands. What does it mean? What the heck does it mean? Princess of Wands means listening and honoring the intuition. Wands is our inner voice. Princess is the feminine nature, the receiving nature, the receptivity to our inner voice. That's really good, right? Because when we're sitting there reflecting, looking at pros and cons, looking at what was, looking at what we want, right? I was talking earlier about how it's so easy for us to know what we don't want because of life experiences, but it takes a greater amount of awareness and strength and inner strength to look at what we do want. Okay, so Princess of Wands, receiving knowledge and information from their inside, from sitting in stillness, from our intuition, from, having gone through the darkness and tapping into our wisdom. Wisdom, okay, maturity is the integration of wisdom, innocence, imagination, and experience. Okay, and we have wisdom and imagination here, okay, and we have experience, 9 of Swords, right in the fucking center. Okay, so this week is going to be a big like maturation opportunity for you, which is ripening you for the Virgo new moon coming up. Okay, Friday. Wheel of Fortune. Yes! Oh my gosh, that just makes me want to bounce. So exciting. What does it mean? Wheel of Fortune. It means new beginnings. New beginnings. You are turning life in your favor. Yes, there is fate. There's destiny, right? But we also have free will, okay? And you can choose to co-create and participate with life and magnetize your being, or get dragged along with it and then just like be cussing out, your luck, when the truth is that you create your own luck. Okay, that's what the Wheel of Fortune says to me. It's like you create your own luck, and by Friday, we're not at 10 of Swords. We're at 10 major arcana. Wheel of Fortune, okay? So it's like this week starts out with like, okay, all right, I'm feeling a little more connected with my heart. It's been really intense, especially with Venus retrograde. I know it was super intense for me with my Venus in Leo. So today is about like nurturing, being gentle with ourselves, really cultivating tenderness. Tomorrow, Wednesday, it's about, okay, now that we've, done a little self-care, taken some naps. I took a bath last night at 11 o'clock at night. I just needed it. I just took a sensual bath. It was fantastic and phenomenal. And then I had juicy orgasm, took myself to sleep. So, how do you nurture yourself? How are you tapping into your pleasure senses, right? Jupiter just went to retrograde, and that's going to bring the big question. How are we nurturing ourselves? So that's the energy of today. 5 of Pentacles, evaluating our resources, evaluating our time, evaluating our needs, evaluating our boundaries. What needs to change? What needs to shift? What needs to just be eliminated? What needs to be refined? What needs to be communicated? Okay? Princess of Wands, when we ask the questions without expectation, tricky word, right? It depends how you use it. Everything is context. Then we're listening, we're receptive to our intuition, to our inner knowing, and then we are able to turn the wheel in our favor because we have clear connection with our imagination, with our desires, with the power of creation within us. We trust that there is birth and life happening, and we don't have to always be digging into the soil to see the seed has cracked open. Wheel of Fortune by the end of the week. Yes, I love it. And bottom of the deck, Eight of Cups again. Okay, this is the big energy highlighting this week. Okay, and when I pull this as the Nine of Swords energy for the overall, I didn't feel the heaviness that is associated with the Nine of Swords. For those of you who read tarot, I felt an ending of that cycle, and again reconfirmed by the Eight of Cups appearing at the bottom of the deck. I've shuffled it a few times. Y'all have seen me. So, Eight of Cups is about leaving the past behind. Yes, those things may have brought you joy and peace and contentment and satisfaction at some point, and it no longer does, and that's okay. Change is the only constant. We evolve or we die, quite literally, or spiritually, emotionally, mentally, creatively, and that leads to sickness and disease and death. Okay. I'm feeling called to pull one more. What is the... See, I asked the question. I was thinking, what is the gift of this week? Four of Swords. Putting to rest the defeat, the sabotage, the doubt, the worry, the confusion, the overexhaustion, the overexertion, the exhaustion, the overextending of self. Four of Swords is a card of rest. So the gift of this week is rest. Okay, especially mental rest, because swords is a mental energy, right? But I also see this card as physical rest. Okay, so this week, the gift of this week, if you allow yourself to follow the natural rhythms, take here what resonates in these messages. The gift of this week is rest. Bottom of the deck, King of Wands. Princess of Wands coming up Thursday. Bottom of the deck, King of Wands, after I pulled the gift of the card. The gift of card is rest. What happens when you rest? Rest is so fucking important. It is more important than eating good food. Because if you're eating good food but you're not processing that, you're just going to be shitting your brains out. Okay? You're not actually going to be digesting. So rest is important to digest, to heal, to process, to integrate. I took some time resting today and yesterday as well, instead of rushing about into the week and like panicking, like, oh my God, I gotta be alive. It's like, no, I'm a human too. And so the gift of this week is rest. Bottom of the deck, King of Wands. Why? Because rest brings clarity. Clarity gives us courage. Courage gives us the strength to take decisive, aligned action forward into the manifestation of our heart-centered truth. All right? Woo-hoo, yeah. That's right. Okay. So, those are all the messages. I'm telling y'all, this clearing with the wasp venom is like really intense. Like, I'm sore. I have all these like bumps. Like, I've been bitten by a bunch of savage insects overnight. Like, I'm just like, I'm like covered. My legs like have at least 5 different welts on them. Like, I've been bitten by insects. That's partly, I knew I needed to wash my sheets, but fuck, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I'm gonna take the advice of the Empress today and just like be gentle with myself and nurture my body, because holy bananas. Oh, and I'm grateful for the venom of the wasp. So all right, beautiful people, so this is all the messages that I have for you. Let's close with some breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. May these messages be received with clarity, with integration, integrated understanding of how these messages are best applied for the benefit of self and the benefit of all beings. Thank you to the guides, angels, archangels, ancestors, ascended masters, animal spirits, elementals, dragons, fairy corns, fairies, unicorns, mer beings, all friendly beings in between, honoring of the light and shadow who have been here today, speaking through me, bringing in these beautiful messages of love, of clarity, of empowerment, of peace, of strength. And I send a wave of love, empowerment, wisdom, peace, and joy to all the beautiful beings tuning in to this video here today. Yena nakina na semakuya na hakshini atana hasaka e mahua ala rakarakishi ya totono makasinitan an makia na ka oe pa usa akarake ka kusene shikite ne maka oe na karakshita tana makua ala haika i mahaka oe kai he kasine te shini maka uina pa pupa pasa ikina na rota na kasan shuni totono makia na karakshita ne makwasene maka aya ini haka na masa ela karashutu totono masaya na so shema kwa power. May you dance with the lightness of being as you continue strengthening with the oneness of your being, with the I am, that is the I am, that is the I am. Until we meet again, I send love and blessings. Bye for now.